Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Currency of Anarchy. I'm Josh Davis.
Michael Freeman.
And if you'd like to be a part of the discussion during our live tapings, please check us out at youtube.com/user/Cur of Anarchy on Mondays at 9 p.m., 6 p.m. Pacific. And you can see the final product at the same channel at youtube.com/user/Cur of Anarchy on Wednesdays at 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific. And please check out our Facebook page, facebook.com/Cur of Anarchy. We'll have a thread up there so you can post questions and comments right there. And you can also Facebook message either me or Michael during that taping, and we'll certainly get to it. And now a word from our sponsors.
Holly Cogburn runs Homebody, a body care, vanity, and cosmetic products company. She contracts using USD, Bitcoin, and barter. She is proud to say that she started the business without the assistance of bank loans. In her words, fuck bank loans and fuck their interest rates. For the most part, fuck banks. She has paid her startup costs out of pocket and has steadily and sustainably grown from there. She believes in a free, fair, and reputation-based market, relying on word of mouth. So please, find Holly at homebodyco.com or facebook.com/homebodyco.
So, Michael, this is our roundtable discussion group thing. We have a group chat like every month, and it seems that we always have Liberty Doll, by the way. Michael, take it away.
Sure. There's actually a point that I would like to make about always having Liberty Doll. I got into this with a mutual friend of Nikki and mine on, I don't know, one of her outlets. She has a few. I noticed a serious lack of legitimacy and consistency with females in the liberty movement right now. Like, there's not a single one celebritarian, the big ones, not the bottom of the barrel like us, who. And I notice a serious lack of consistency, and there's not much for me to go on. There's not a single one that I can honestly say I enjoy their content right now. And Nikki is one that I do. She's actually consistent as an anarchist or a libertarian, and I know that she just recently came out of the closet to everybody in her personal life about that fact. So my goal here is to get Nikki famous, man. Let's just let her wreck Josie the Outlaw. Let's have Nikki wreck Julie Borowski, right? We need a better face.
Oh, thank God, yes.
I'm halfway joking, but I do kind of mean that. So that's Liberty Doll. Go ahead.
At least I have better fashion sense, right?
If that's how you're going to start your celebritarianism, then I'm not sure.
Here we go. I'll appreciate this. This vape here has a little bomber girl.
Wait, I gotta introduce everybody before we start nitpicking here. So that's Liberty Doll. Nikki, you can check her out at libertydoll.com, I think.
Yeah, on libertydoll.com.
Right, and on Facebook, I'm sure she does the rest of the social media. She has a low and slow YouTube channel that she fails to update that you can check out as well. So, Nikki, what's up with you?
Wait, with me?
Yeah, what's up?
Nothing. Snow is up. Lots and lots and lots of snow is up. So yeah, I'm actually thinking of more videos to do. I have ideas. So hopefully I'll actually do some soon, eventually, maybe, potentially.
keep us in the loop, and we'll be sure to toss those videos around on the webs as well. We always appreciate you coming on here. So I bust everybody's chops. I'm just kidding. Nikki is somebody that you guys should really check out. So then we have Tommy Valor, Semper Fuck himself, the God King.
No, the God King. God King was killed in order to facilitate the transcendence to the next form.
Oh, I'm sorry. What I'm trying to get at is that he's a pompous bastard. You can check him out on Liberty Rockstar on Facebook, and I think he has a new one going called Anarchist Things, which is booming. It's really funny stuff. It's going to play on just status things, but more from, without the satire, I suppose.
Yeah.
So what's happening with you, big boy?
No, it's crazy how fast Just Anarchist Things has taken off. It's been maybe like 3 days, and we're already like over 810 likes the last time I looked.
Yeah.
And it's actually a play off of Just Girly Things, but we want to showcase Just Anarchy Things because it's like so many people have all these like crazy ideas of what anarchy is, and really it's everything that they probably do in their regular life anyways already. And so it's actually a way through kind of like funniness to get information out there better, and because it is recognizable, it's been able to grow incredibly fast.
Good.
Yeah.
Networking is the key, man. Like, the more hearts and oh god, I'm not gonna do that. You know, all right, Josh. All right. Keep your awesome red anarcho-communist T-shirt on. That's 2 weeks in a row, by the way.
Right. Fine.
All right.
What?
All right. Yeah, Tommy, that's what's up. Like, I like that page, and you know, generally I just like your stuff because I like you and we're friends, and like I just want to support you, right? And I know that's probably an insult, but just whatever, it's what it is. But no, you know, this venture I actually really like, it, and it's obviously successful. I'm clearly not the only person who enjoys it, and you know, I appreciate what you're doing, bud.
Thank you.
So then we have Red Fox, who's a self-proclaimed anarcho-capitalist who's from Rhode Island. From what I gather, he's a free market entrepreneur, agorist, who believes in operating outside of the state and no state solutions. What's happening with you, man?
Well, I got a lot of projects in the works. I do a lot of prepping, homesteading. I just recently am in the process of buying a house and building a full workshop. And eventually I'd like to get into reloading and basically just working under the state's nose and just doing all those little things the leftists in our lovely state don't like us to do. I'm also working with a couple of other fellow ANCAPs, and they want to mint alternative currencies in silver, and I was working out a deal that perhaps I could build up my own coffers in silver in exchange for making unique coins. It's going to be known as the clam, you know, kind of like the Family Guy reference, and it'll be pretty sweet because it'll be made in Rhode Island, and we'll be able to trade those instead of dollars or the dime cards or whatever.
So I guess my big question has to be, are you going to accept Bitcoin?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I love Bitcoin. I had an incident with Butterfly Labs. Hopefully I can join the class action suit against them over my miner. They gave my miner, I don't know if you know anything about the Butterfly Labs incident, but basically they gave the nice, big, expensive ones out first. So all the little miners like mine were useless.
Right. I am happy to say that I have never dipped into mining, and I never will. So that's the crowd. Here we are. Josh, back to you.
Okay. Well, I think the first thing that Michael and I wanted to talk about was about the, you know, football. It's glamorized. It's, you know, it's basically a small form of nationalism, and you know, anyone who is a nationalist is into like football or sports in general, and then that's, you know, you got the national anthem within every sports goings on, every happening. You know, it's pretty ridiculous, and I personally always hated the idea of pride anyway, like school pride, national pride. Like, I just don't get it. I never got it. And now it's even more overt than ever, in my opinion. And so my thing is, you know, just, I mean, it's one thing to like sports, and especially for the exercise, and you can make a case for team building, but I think that's about it. Honestly, I can't stand sports for the most part. I like baseball. I watch the Red Sox. I admit it. I'm a full-fledged Red Sox fanatic. But I'm cognitive.
I don't like sports to I'm a full-fledged Red Sox fanatic.
I sense a little cognitive dissonance there.
Right. But the thing is, I know better. There's a difference, you know. Like, I know that national pride is absolutely mind-boggling and complete brainwashing. And at the same time, I like sports. I'll play sports. I like bowling. I like golf, sort of. And I like baseball. But most people really don't get it. They seriously put their hand on their heart, and I'm like, how can you have that pride for a nation? It's absolutely ridiculous.
It's like a religion.
It is. Yeah, that's what statism is anyway. It's a religion.
Yeah.
Nikki, let's go first with you. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, so this is the first year that I have watched the Super Bowl since I was like 10. Because when I was a little kid, my dad would like bet $1 on the game or something, and his drunk friend would come and they would just drink lots of beer, and there was really no escaping it. But this year I actually went to friends' houses, my friend's apartment, mainly because they had food.
Right.
I'm gonna be real. They had food that did not involve me cooking, and I always like that. I'm a terrible woman. And we actually sat through the whole thing. Are you okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've been laughing all weekend. I'm sorry, I'm just on a laughing rampage. Go ahead.
What else can you do? Punch refrigerators? That's not a good idea.
But anyways, yeah, so I watched it knowing nothing about the game. I was just like, oh, wow, there's people running and tackling, and I imagine that hurts really bad, and why are we watching this thing? Why does, 10 minutes take 2 hours? And it was just really interesting because whenever someone made a good play or a bad play, everybody was jumping off the couch and screaming, and it was we this and we that. And my fiance at one point actually said, hey, you're not on the team. This doesn't really involve you. And everyone got really quiet, and I think some people got a little upset, and they just didn't really want to talk about it. But yeah, I don't know. It was just a really surreal experience. It was kind of just like, I don't know, like when you're watching the Discovery Channel or National Geographic and there's monkey fighting.
She was the Jane Goodall.
So yeah, and we even commented how we were these outsiders sort of in the middle of this watching everything, and it's a really interesting experience when you're not rooting for either side and everybody's just flipping out and crying at the commercials, and yeah, I don't know. It was a really surreal experience. The food was good though, so.
Yeah, Tommy.
Well, it was kind of funny. I didn't have any plans for the game. My brother had invited me over to his house, and I was going to go over there and watch the game. I sat down on my computer, and I ended up making 7 memes for just anarchist things, and then in philosophical discussion about anything, I don't know exactly what it was. And I look up, and I'm like, man, it's midnight already. Where did my day go? I guess I missed the Super Bowl. And that's actually kind of like a big thing that's happened to me recently as I've become more active as an activist or whatever. I used to love football. I played football in high school. I will talk at length about how great I think football can be for young kids, going off of what you had said, building teamwork, but also more than that is discipline and getting kids out there and making them feel good about themselves, or helping them to find things that they're good at and feel good about themselves, empowering them, and also to build a community sort of surrounding. But when you take it to the extreme that national football does, or large sports, baseball, same way, you kind of get into that exceptionalism where it's well, I like my city's team better than your city's team because I'm from my city and my city's better than your city. And there's no rhyme or reason behind it. And it's the same thing on a larger scale when you come to talk about American nationalism. And it's really kind of silly. Liberty O'Dell was saying about the collectivism, the we, describing your team as you're a part of it, even though you've done absolutely nothing. But maybe cheer them on. And a lot of times when it comes to the Super Bowl, the people that are cheering for the teams don't even cheer for them during the regular season. You know, they're diehard whatever city that they grew up in or whatever sports team that they loved growing up, and they kind of stick with that. And I think that like perfectly represents American exceptionalism, nationalism on a broader scale, looking at it like that. And kind of like the outside looking in on New Year's, when I went out to a bar on New Year's to celebrate, and I was with another one of my buddies who's kind of like really, really heavy, like Nietzsche influence kind of individual, and we're just sitting there watching everybody doing what I call like humping the American dream. All these guys are out there doing what they think they're supposed to be doing, and just looking at their faces, they just look so sad and miserable, even though they're supposed to be drunk and having a good time, and it's the new year. And just looking at the large crowd, I just felt like such an outsider, laughing at all of them doing all of this and just being miserable, even though they're supposed to be doing this to celebrate and be happy. And I think that carries over to other parts of life too.
Hmm. Yeah, right on. Red Fox?
You. Well, I mean, like, I totally agree with that. I've always seen mainstream sports, particularly spectator sports, as kind of an outsider looking in, and I just never was into it. Same thing with, like, you guys said about high school and stuff. I was always like at the pep rally, I'm like looking at all these people just cheering, and I'm just like deafening my ears, and I'm going, oh my god, this is just so freaking stupid. I just never liked collectivism at all. I've always been an individual. And it just annoys the hell out of me to see this kind of groupthink and just like everyone just takes their individuality and just any kind of like independent thought and they just throw it out the window and just blindly support this one particular thing. And with sports like that, like, you know, I can understand playing baseball or football or whatever yourself with your friends, but as far as like sitting there and watching a game and rooting for total strangers, it just seems so foreign to me. And I always find it interesting that, like, the Boston Red Sox and New England Patriots are not Rhode Island, yet Rhode Islanders, like, cheer them on like it's their own personal team. And it's like, dude, we don't have a team. You know? It's just like, what are you rooting for? And it just, yeah, it's like this us versus them thing, and it's just so silly. Like, I always, you know, actually it was funny, is one of my customers was a former New England Patriots player. And he was worried, like, a fan was like, you know, I would be a fan going to his house and doing a job for him. And I was like, well, I don't give a shit about sports. He's like, oh, great, come on over then. I mean, I've always been into more individual sports like archery and other things like that. But never, like, sports where you just throw a ball around or anything like that. I just thought it was kind of dumb. I mean, I can understand why some people enjoy it, but I like to have a lot of the things I do as hobbies have a practical application. And I don't see kicking a football around as very practical. But we all have our stupid hobbies, I guess.
It's true.
You know, but as far as, like, you know, it's basically bread and circus. I mean, the reason why they're so miserable is you know, it's a lot of economic things, you know, between the femistatists running around screaming that we need to get paid more, and it's like, hey, it's not my fault you made poor career choices, to, you know, the guys that are, you know, driving into the stadium with these cars they can't afford, with underwater mortgages for giant houses they didn't need and couldn't afford. You know, it's a, you know, and I'm looking at these guys. I'm half their age. I don't have any debt, and I might be buying a house and all this stuff, and I don't make much money. So it just, you know, I look at all these people and how miserable they are. I'm just like, you know, maybe if you guys stop paying attention to which team is better in your mind and actually focus on what's around you, maybe you could be more productive.
Right. Yeah, Michael, wrap it up.
Even to this point, and I've read numerous articles about the Super Bowl, the only facts that I really have is that I have about zero. I think it may have been at Gillette in Boston. I am pretty sure that the Patriots won. I know that like over 100 people were arrested at the game, and about 75% of them were not charged with crimes and illegally detained. And if you want to even bring up the Constitution, unconstitutionally detained, but that's not. You guys can have it that. That's about what I know about it. I don't follow sports. Like, I like to play sports very much. I think competition is one of the funnest things of all time. My girlfriend and I compete with each other constantly. doing it. It helps build our relationship, and I like to win. I thoroughly enjoy winning. It makes me feel fucking great about myself. When it comes to like the game, I don't much care. It's just that it's an irrelevant way to make yourself not think and to entertain people and make money. Like I have no problem with that. Whatever. Like cash in on whatever idea you possibly can, as long as you're not using government regulation and protection and etc. to forward that, right? But I think, actually, there's a few things I wanted to point on that Nikki said. Nikki, Pat is hilarious, and you need to fucking film him at all times. That would have made such a good Liberty Doll YouTube video.
Oh, you should have heard what he said at some of the commercials. It was, well, we both said it was pretty bad. People were.
I know. I wish. And like you brought up all you guys brought up school spirit. I fully agree. Like nationalism is nationalism, whether it's school spirit or team mentality or pack mentality or group think or our team or my army or these colors or this geographical location. It's all the same damn thing, I think. And it's just a really violent idea. It tends to lead to the deaths of hundreds of millions of people. And I oppose it 100% of the time, regardless of how you may be packaging it as keeping people safe or your team is better than the other team or whatever. I don't much care. I think that it's just a vile idea that needs to be stamped out. It's proven to have failed time and time again. It is proven to be counterproductive to human prosperity as a whole, and that's a collectivist word, right? But I'm just trying to see it from their side. By collectivist idealist mentality, they are inefficient and failing. So even if you are a collectivist, you guys need to come up with some better ideas, And that's how I see football, that's how I see the NFL, that's how I see the Army, that's how I see elementary school. Or
the only thing
you're on
that
my team.
I want to bring up about that is at least for the most part, at least with football and baseball, they at least try to incorporate a little bit of capitalism. Buy my ticket and we'll, make this team shine, and maybe this whole geographical location will have a bask of glory for about, I don't know, the next 24 hours. At least they have a little bit of capitalism. The state, it's forced upon you. You know what I mean? Of course, with football, there's a lot of subsidy, especially in Boston, I'll tell you. But in any case, yeah, obviously, it's a bunch of nationalism, and it's overt, and it's really scary. When you really open your eyes to this stuff, it's that's where it breeds this nationalism. So if you think about historical perspective, Rome had the the Colosseum.
Bread and circus.
Right. It just these things keeps on repeating. Every empire has their own form of breeding this, and it's really sick. When you start to realize that this is an empire, and this is going to die pretty soon. We're in the final stages. You know what I mean? But that's beyond the scope.
The state wouldn't help fund them if it wasn't in their best interests. What is in the state's best interests? I mean, I don't need to ask you guys that question, but you guys
just people dumb enough to vote.
Something like that. Like I keep them dumb enough to steal my stuff, or to make me vote, or to call the cops, or whatever it is.
But smart enough to bring or keep some form of prosperity or wealth moving, because they take a percentage off of every single bit.
Oh, they don't even do that now. I don't even think they do that now. I mean, the way they try to regulate everything, they're just so full of their own chutzpah and bravado that it's getting to the point now where it's just like they're just regulating themselves into just economic collapse. It's ridiculous.
It's the exact same thing if you look back at how Rome was built and then the decline of Rome. It's almost verbatim if you look at it.
Right.
Well, Mark Twain said that history doesn't repeat, but it does rhyme, and I think that's very true. You know, things aren't always exactly the same, but they do.
He also said when the end of the world comes, he wants to be in Cincinnati. So that's where I'm from. So
My borders.
He's 20 years behind.
My borders.
Exactly. Which Cincinnati named after the Roman emperor.
Right.
Oh God.
Cincinnati. So. I'm just
Hey,
all the parallels.
Good or bad, a quote's a quote. If it's good and it works, just apply it, right? Just because someone's a pain in the ass or evil doesn't mean they're not right.
Sometimes a broke clock gets fixed or is right twice a day.
Exactly. I love using
flies with honey. You don't catch flies with honey. You catch them with feces and fucking dead bodies.
I love using the founding fathers' quotes against constitutionalists and stuff all the time.
Right.
You know, just to.
Is this Franklin? Yeah, I think it is. The tree of liberty must be. I'm paraphrasing hardcore. The tree of liberty must be from time to time watered with the blood of patriots and tyrants. And I'm just sitting back here like, fuck both patriots and tyrants. You guys take each other out and do my job for me. Appreciate that.
That was Thomas Jefferson, but Thomas Jefferson was an interesting character because
there was like 3 different versions of Thomas Jefferson.
I know, right? Like one where he was like hardcore patriot, one where he was like hardcore statist, and like one that was like somewhere in the middle.
The philosopher, you know, like in his later years, the philosopher looking back on everything, I guess.
Hindsight is 90/90, baby.
At least he tried to stop the Fed and succeeded back then. You know, that was the one good thing about him.
My biggest thing about tearing the founding fathers is actually Thomas Jefferson, because so many people talk about him, and he wrote the Constitution. He cared so much about individual rights that he left them all out of the first drafting of the Constitution, right? And then on top of that, he talked to, you know, all humans are created equal, right? Except for, you know, the ones that I own. Mm-hmm. And then he was rumored to have relations with the people that he owned. So it's like this guy who's saying how free we all are really was not practicing.
Not only just relations, like bastard children that he abandoned with them. Oh, what would you call an American bastard? Not snow. Like, would that be sand? Would that be...
One of my favorite ones is to use
eagle.
One of my favorites is when he uses George Washington, because they always praise him like he's almost a demigod, and I'm just like, you do realize that George Washington started the whiskey tax in Pennsylvania that was 25%.
George Washington was the first commander of the army. That dude can fuck himself as far as
Yeah. I mean, like, he's like, oh yeah, if we're going to fight a war over taxation of 3%, and we're going to replace it with 25% taxation on whiskey, and then we're going to, you know, the whole part about the Declaration of Independence says you can overthrow unjust governments. Well, we're just going to like sweep that one under the rug and just suppress you with the whiskey rebellion.
The worst thing that you can ever do to me is tax my alcohol. I will end your fucking life.
I mean, like, what else can you do in Pennsylvania, really? Except drink.
It was like Pennsylvania, West Virginia, and Virginia. He marched 13,000 troops over there. And to quell this, right? And actually just last year, the same sort of thing happened. There was a gigantic ginseng bust. Ginseng, you know, that thing that you take so you can remember stuff better, right? Well, in West Virginia, you're only allowed to harvest it during certain times of the year. Like 1 month early, these people had harvested a bunch of ginseng. It was like 13, or I forget the exact number, but there was a bunch of ginseng that was harvested, and they stole all of that, and then the police were able to sell that on the market and make all of that money, on top of all the money that they also got from that. And it was supposedly this gigantic win on the war on drugs.
We really got to get back on topic, but I just want to point out, like, that meme that's like the picture of the Escalade that the cops stole from the drug dealers, and there's like the sticker on the back of it, like, hey, we stole this car from a drug dealer's. We just, okay, they don't go this far, but we just steal your property and then we use it for ourselves, you slimy bastards.
If they don't use it, they sell it and capitalize on all the money.
It shows their true colors.
And who do they aim these types of auctions at? Dumb fucking veterans who are E3s like our idiot asses were, right? The lemon lot. Anyways, no, we should get back on topic. We should. Josh.
All right, yeah, I'll steal it. So actually, Nikki brought up the fact that she wanted to talk about the commercials that were on the Super Bowl as well, and I think that's a great idea. One is sticking out in her mind really badly, and you know what, Nikki, I'll give it to you, okay?
Okay. So I don't know if if different regions have different commercials or what the deal is with that, but there was a couple interesting ones that we saw last night. But one of them was like perfect timing. There has been this spanking versus anti-spanking argument that's been going on at my personal page for, I don't know, a few days. I actually posted this sort of infographic that talked about all the psychological effects of spanking on children and how it can damage their mental health and lead to crime later in life. And the only thing that spanking is actually associated with as far as discipline is just immediate compliance. Nothing else. The child doesn't really learn anything. I mean, they're certainly not happy. The parents aren't happy. Their mental health and emotional health kind of declines when they're spanking their child. But still, people are so adamant that punishment is the only way to parent, and that's been the only way to parent for hundreds of years, and somehow nothing has changed. So in the midst of this argument going on my personal page, we're all sitting around the TV last night, and there's just this image of this child that comes on the screen, and they're talking to someone, and some guy just slaps the kid across the face. And there was this collective gasp in the apartment, like, like it was such a horrible thing. And what it was is it's for some show that's literally called The Slap. That is the name of this television show that I think is going to be on NBC or whatever it is. And the whole plot of it is that someone slaps someone else's kid, so they call the police and take them to court. And I just thought it was so interesting that people get so upset if someone else slaps their child, but if they do it, it's okay. You know, they say, well, how dare you? How could you ever hurt a child? How could you slap my child? But they can't apply that logic to themselves. And I just thought it was a really interesting juxtaposition of, you know, that whole argument. I don't know if anyone else had that commercial or was even watching.
No, but I wanna throw out there that I love talking about peaceful parenting so much because I think that it's kind of a generational approach to actually advancing liberty for everybody. But it's so important because, like I always say, like authoritarianism starts at home, and like just immediately conforming to authority rules, you know, arbitrary edicts that your parents set down in front of you, and but I think that's incredibly important to talk about because it applies to adults too. About like positive reinforcement and innovative ways to teach and mentor others. Like if another adult does something that you disagree with, you can't hit them, right? Why is it acceptable for you to like hit your child if they do something that you disagree with? And so the argument comes down to either they cannot logic and reason like an adult, so should they not be given more benefit and more like coddling, so to speak, or whatever, more leeway to behave in certain ways because they don't have the ability to logic, reason, and impulse control, or that they are completely capable of all that stuff, so they should be shown the exact same respect that you would show an adult.
Absolutely, and if we were to take that even a step further and saying, okay, so kids can't have they don't have logic, they don't have reason, so they can't figure out themselves, and so you spank your kid. But if you do that to, say, an Alzheimer's or dementia patient that doesn't have logic or reasoning, they are essentially in their mind a child. That's considered elder abuse. You go to jail for that. It might even be a felony. I'm not sure if you get like assault and battery on someone over 65 or a disabled person. And it's like, well, so it's just amazing how the logic just sort of stops short, you know?
And a lot of people that I have that conversation with, sorry, Michael, they're always use extremely dismissive language when they're defending the action itself, and it's like, well, it's not so bad. And I think part of it is really just like, it's usually something that happened to them. And when you're an abuser, or if somebody is an abuser, generally they use more than just physical punishment. There's always some sort of emotional punishment that's on top of that, because a physical abuser will emotionally and verbally like mold the abusee, basically. And so like in their mindset as an adult, having been spanked as children, and your parents are infallible the entire time you're growing up, you have to come to the conclusion, or you have to come to the realization that you were traumatized as a child, and then you have to really dig deep and look at all of the other stuff that you looked past, all of the other emotional stuff. So that's why it's such a hard barrier to break through when you're having conversations with people like that.
This is not my turn. I'm supposed to go last, but I just have to interject. You guys are like, well, where does this come from? And you know, these people abuse their children and feel that they have the right to do so. And why is that? And I'm pretty sure that I know why. They believe that their kids are property. They believe that they own their children, right? And I instantly, 100% of the time, because I try to be consistent, I oppose that position. Like, nobody is anybody's property. You are your own person and capable of making your own decisions. Even a baby can figure out something like language on its own, does not need to be controlled by you. It does not need to be forced and violated against and have violence committed against it in order to bend it to your will. It's a human being, not a desk lamp.
Yeah, my daughter completely, she's 4 years old, completely free of like anybody else's terms or words or whatever, said to me one day, because I was trying to get her to clean up her toys so that I could vacuum my living room, and she was like, well, Daddy, I just do what you do, and you never clean up your workspace. And I looked over at where my computer is on my counter, and I'm like, yeah, you're right, honey. I need to be better at that too, don't I?
My nephew's the same way. Whenever he's over at his grandmother's house, he actually like will pick up the Swiffer and help my mother clean. It's so cute. The kid's more interested in mowing the lawn and doing chores than just sitting around playing with toys. It's actually pretty awesome.
Wow, that's interesting.
But I think like with this whole spanking thing, it comes down to moral. Like with most things in the philosophy of liberty and anarcho-capitalism and other things, it's a lack of moral consistency with them. You know, I mean, for starters, I mean, if you take a parent that spanks their child, then you're not going to win the argument with them, because then they'll have to admit to themselves that they are either bad parents, which they won't accept, or that their parents were bad, or et cetera, et cetera. So they're just going to avoid it altogether. For me, it's a complete lack of moral consistency. You know, it's like, you wouldn't hit your wife, why would you hit your kid? You know, and I can't stand people say that, oh, I was spanked and I turned out fine. I'm like, hey, I was sexually assaulted and I turned out fine. There's no consistency there. You know, it's just absolutely absurd. I'd rather, you know, it's just like the status and the whole war and everything. I'm like, I'd rather trade and negotiate with people than try and kill them. So, you know, if you have a problem with that, I think there's something fundamentally wrong with your moral compass. It's not me, it's you that's the problem.
Right.
I would...
Personally, like, I think that it's kind of messed up when a parent can only, like, his only answer will be, because I said so.
Oh my God, I
hate that.
Yep.
Anybody capable of critical thought hates that.
Personally, like, a ton, and you know, all I could hear, you know, it's that and, you know, spanking, and well, that was far and few between, but still, you know, why do it? Because there's no real good answer. You know, whatever.
Have you heard the lifeboat scenarios they come up with spanking?
Right.
Like, have you heard the lifeboat scenarios involving spanking or hitting your child?
Oh, no.
No? I hear stuff like, oh, what happens if your kid's going to touch something hot on the stove? And I'm like, so you're going to smack your kid around for touching something hot on the stove?
All right, I gotta jump in again. This is the same thing that us in Rhode Island and Massachusetts are going through right now, right? The implication here, like, I'm going to smack my kid for trying to get something hot off the stove, hurt your kid to stop your kid from hurting themselves, right? And I got sick of that before I finished saying it. But my point here is, like, right now, Karen and I are not allowed to park her car in the street, or they're going to come steal it, right? They're going to tow her car and seize her property, right? And what that really is the threat of murder. If you understand logic, reason, first principles, or anything about the state, right? And again, sick of that before I finish saying it. So the same logic applies to what you say about hitting your kid who's trying to grab a hot pan, right? These people are threatening me with murder in order to keep me safe on the roads.
Yeah.
Just I don't have much more to say, but just really let that sink in for a few minutes.
It's a lack of moral consistency. You can't have you cannot have these dichotomies in simple reasoning. It doesn't make any sense. The reason why they can do that is because they just throw all these little exemptions and exceptions in their philosophy because they don't think about it.
Well, I think the reason they can do it is because they can do whatever they want, and the majority of the cattle are going to agree with them. No matter
I think
what.
it has more to do with the fact that between being raised in a sadist society, it's a combination of traditionalism, indoctrination, and just a perpetual cycle of violence. It's not just people left to their own devices aren't naturally just going to do these things or agree with these things. I mean, like if you just took, my friend just came from Colorado, and he, a lot of even the people that are constitutionalists or even the cops there after they passed those gun laws, they were just like, I didn't see nothing. Because they understand the moral implications. It's like, no, this is stupid. This is wrong. We're not going to do this. And I'm not being a police apologist, I still wouldn't trust them, but, it's just because it's a small town and people there are more independent and think more independently, they're easier to reason with than, say, your average Rhode Island voter that somehow whines like Republicans, and then around the voting booth they all vote Democrat down the line.
Oh, there's a very, very specific point I want to make, but... it was pointed out to me recently by a specific blonde person on this show that maybe I should drink a little bit less and smoke a little bit less weed when I do this, and maybe be a little bit less angry. Look at that!
Oh no!
So
It wasn't a suggestion. It was an observation. I'm a therapist.
No, Nikki, I appreciate your observations. Like, if I seem like I drink too much or whatever, that's cool. Like, I'm gonna drink a few beers when I do this. That's just how I'm gonna do things, right? But I don't want to come off as some belligerent, But I'm really just busting your chops.
You're good at that.
Yeah.
Hi, my name's Mike, and I'm an alcoholic.
All right, slow down there, Red.
This is the dismissive language that I was just talking about, where people aren't willing to.
I'm not dismissing anything, baby.
Slow down, God King, slow down. No, it's just it's fucking crazy. Like. I'm like at a loss for words. This whole thing that's going on in the Northeast right now, in Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Connecticut, New York, New Jersey, with the snow is just really making me crazy, and it's just making me hate all of you. Not you guys, but everybody else. Like,
yeah.
The implication here is that these people are threatening me with murder in order for if I go into the street and.
What blows my mind?
I don't want to rehash it. I just don't want to rehash it.
What blows my mind, Mike, is like these people that support taxation and all this stuff, they don't even get anything good out of it. I live in Woonsocket on a hill, and my street has been plowed twice.
The state is the most inefficient institution to ever exist in human history. Yeah, they're not getting a good deal.
Look, they're putting you in a cage. It's your own cage. It's house arrest. Just for a natural occurrence. It's called snow. Whoop-de-doo. It's frickin' water.
You might go.
I've been pressing on this. I have been pressing on this point for weeks, and I know that it's getting old. But like, we got hit with the snowstorm last week. I think it was Monday again, and then this Monday we get hit with another snowstorm, and it's just like I'm being threatened with murder. Last time for 3 separate reasons, and so far this time 2. And I just can't fucking take that lightly.
And
man.
it's so funny. So I live in a small town, a college town in Massachusetts, and I mean it's not that small, but for some reason they can't get their shit together and plow anything.
If you expect the state to get their shit together, Nikki, you're gonna have such a fucking bad time.
It's not in their best interest to provide what they're supposed to provide well, because once they provide it well, they don't get more money next year.
But the thing is, if you go anywhere outside of town, there is a straight line in the road of bare pavement versus snow and ice all around the border of the town. I actually took a picture of it last year, and I'm pretty sure I posted it on Liberty Doll. And people are I'm on the local town Facebook page just for shits and giggles, really. And people are always complaining, and then there's the people that say something like, oh, for all these taxes we pay, because my town has its own separate tax on top of all the state taxes. People are like, oh, for all these taxes that we pay, how come the plowing is so bad? And then there's this whole string of
either way.
They're like, you have to understand, the people driving the plows are risking their life, and you're complaining about the roads.
Roads.
That is just my least favorite argument of all time. Just like the cops, they have to put on this uniform and go risk their lives to keep us safe every day. Like, motherfucker, that's part of the job description.
Not even that, Mike. It's not even that. Trash collectors live a more dangerous lifestyle than police officers do. I looked up the statistics.
Construction workers, too.
I'm aware.
Yeah, construction workers, too. My job is more dangerous than a cop's. I work with electric, gas, and water.
Beekeepers' job is more dangerous than the cops.
Well,
Yeah,
because
you can be not allergic to bees your entire life and get one sting and be go into anaphylactic shock, and die.
I'm actually deathly allergic to bees. My throat closes up, and I'm getting triggered right now. So I'd like to shift the
How dare you censor me? My patriarchy.
Oh, don't even talk to me.
Believe me, let me run to the state, and I guarantee they're going to tell you that my feels come before your logic. All right.
My guns beat your feels.
So
it's Rhode Island Clam. You guys can look it up on Facebook. I'm still working out the kinks. The first set will be made in the Nordic traditional method of stamping coins, all done in a shop without government permission. People can trade them. People can use them. You can exchange Bitcoin, whatever. We're still working out the kinks on that. And you can look up my Facebook page. It's Red Fox, one word, Armory Blacksmith Shop. We're not operational yet. I'm only doing this myself, so I can only do odds and ends right now. But hopefully by spring, I'll be able to make stuff and knives, swords, anything really. And if you're an end cap, I'll give you a really good deal. We accept Bitcoin, barter, trade, pretty much anything, including Federal Reserve notes, though.
Last time we did this show was January 26th. Today is February 2nd, and I took the prices tonight at $8.32. Silver last time was $17.73. Tonight it's $17.18. So that's a 55-cent drop. That's 3.1%. Gold went from $12.73.41 to $12.73.07. That's only 34 cents. That's not even making a tick in the percent column. And Bitcoin went from $265.92 to $273.32. That's $7.40. That's a 2.8% gain. Good stuff. Not much changing over here. So, any other follow-ups to Bitcoin or gold or silver or anything? Anybody?
It's good to see gold and silver being steady, and it's good to see Bitcoin on the rise for me, because I use it to buy silver, which is holding steady, so cheers.
I'm trying to buy Bitcoin, but Coinbase is like, no, you have to verify with your account. I'm like, damn it, it's Sunday.
Dude, go to localbitcoins.com. Get off of Coinbase.
Yeah, I've heard.
I was only on there for because I was mining as a group. So, but since my miner's obsolete, I don't really do that I mean,
supposedly, if you can make the trek to Boston, there are supposedly Bitcoin ATMs in Cambridge.
There are
I've
3.
not seen them, but I've
yeah,
heard
but oh my god, I
they're
hate Boston.
legendary.
There's
They're
one
great.
in South Station as well.
I didn't help my fiance move when she moved to Boston.
Oh.
There are 3 Bitcoin ATMs.
I did it. Well, actually, no, I did it once. When she moved again, I didn't. Well,
It's
that was it.
complete. It's completely anonymous. You're not going to lose any money, and it is absolutely the best way to
So there's-
purchase Bitcoin.
There's
with USD.
ATMs in Boston where I could just put cash in and get Bitcoin out of it.
Yeah.
Yep.
I would love to try that. I still haven't done that, but when I
haven't
do,
either.
when I do that, I'm going to definitely take that for the show, like you said, Michael. That'll be awesome to do.
Make a thing out of it, man.
Yeah,
We should all
man.
do it together, maybe, or hang out, do something. Be nice to
Yeah.
meet you guys.
Yeah,
face to
yeah.
face
You
for
know,
once.
maybe I should plug this.
I'm kind of under the radar, but I'd like to become more prominent. And
Can you imagine if, like, this big group of people, a big group of us, just, like, descended on this ATM at South Station?
I'm actually setting up this this
video recorded, make it a thing.
I'm setting up this Rhode Island Anarchy meetup. And Nikki and Josh, you guys are close enough to make it, so we should do that. And at first, we're probably just going to do it at a bar, have some drinks, and shoot the shit. But maybe we could turn it into a thing. Go do some cop blocks. Go make some videos at the Bitcoin ATMs, and
Yeah.
I'd
maybe
be
go.
down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Josh. So next week we have objectivist girl Lauren Rumpler, I think.
I believe so. Yeah. So we're gonna talk about morals. It's about time. I miss morality on this show, honestly.
Objectivism versus subjectivist, more libertarianism, whatever.
Yeah, this should be a good one for me because I am not an objectivist by any means. I'm more into Friedrich Nietzsche. I'm more of a relativist or a subjectivist or whatever you want to call me. I believe in interpretation, not truths, right? So
Kind of in the middle. Like, I'll take from column A and column B, you know what I mean? Like, some things, like, it's just plain, some objective morality is just a fact. Like, yes, it's wrong to rape. Yes, it's wrong to kill. And then there's subjective fans. Like, well, if somebody, tries to kill me first, well, yeah, obviously,
there are so many things that I want to say right now, but I'm
You don't
not
even wanna
going
give-
to. I'm not going to do it because we gotta wrap up.
The thing is, we're gonna have Lauren on the show, and we've had actually Luis Fernando Mises on the show a couple times, and he's kind of introducing me to, the kind of balance, the subjectivism and objectivism. I think I've had this conversation with Tommy as well, and so it would be great to have Lauren on the show, and maybe in the future we should have a big round table. But that would be
Would get so ugly, man.
well, yeah, that's why we should have it. So, yeah. Well, I think we'll do that anyway. Lauren will be on the show next week. That will be February 9th, live on the Currency of Anarchy channels, Cur of Anarchy. And this show will be up February 4th. That's a Wednesday at 3 p.m. on this channel as well, Cur of Anarchy. Also, this will be uploaded to Voluntary Virtues as usual. So take care. Thank you all for watching. Take it easy.